Patrick Christie's here with Westmonster. I'm joined today by Kelvin Hopkins. Thank you very much for coming and speak to us today.
Pleasure.
And we're here to talk about a few things. Firstly, to do with the EU withdrawal bill. So you were one of only 7 MPs to defy the three-line whip and vote in favour of the EU withdrawal bill. Why do you do that?
Well, I'm fundamentally opposed to the European Union, always have been. I think it's anti-socialist, anti-democratic and failing economically. And I think to drag our feet about going out of the EU, I think is not good for us and certainly not good for the EU either. I want us to come out of the EU and re-establish a thriving democracy here and hope other countries will follow us too.
Excellent. And so, what do you say to your constituents who maybe don't feel represented now by the Labour Party's current position on Brexit? Because talk about maybe staying in the single market, talk about maybe that wouldn't mean a continuation of free movement of people. I mean, what would you say to those people that voted for Brexit as Labour constituents that maybe feel underrepresented now?
Well, I say that there's, millions of Labour voters voted to leave. I was one of those. My constituency voted by 15% majority to leave, and I think they deserve a voice in Parliament. I'm one of those people speaking up for that group of people. So I think within the Labour Party there are many, many people who take a stronger view about getting out. Clean break, let's get out now, let's restart our democracy. I think there are people speaking up for them, including me. But the Labour Party, parliamentary party, has got a high proportion of people who are actually Remainers, and they're dragging their feet essentially about getting out. And there is a range of view within all parties, I think, about the EU, including the Conservative Party. So there's always a pressure to make compromises. I don't think it's wise to make a compromise. I think we should just get out cleanly as soon as we can and start building better relations on a different basis for the future.
Did you feel a little bit disappointed when the Labour Party came out a couple of weeks ago and obviously started speaking again about the single market and customs union? Because I know Corbyn himself has had a checkered history with the EU himself. It maybe seems an opposition for him to be. And were you slightly let down by that or not?
Well, I should say I'm 100% supporter of Jeremy. I've absolutely I was the first to nominate him. He's a personal friend, and I think it's a wonderful change that we've actually got a genuine socialist to lead the party. However, I am disappointed that having said we were against the customs union and single market, now to be drifting towards that direction. If we're inside the single market, will we not be effectively out of the EU? Because we can't use state aids, we can't use public procurement, we can't renationalise the railways, all of those things which will be in a socialist programme, we want to be able to do, and we can't do that in the single market.
So what do you make of the current state of Brexit? I know you've touched on that we should be making a clean break. So where do you think we're up to at the minute? Is it maybe some faults within Theresa May's Brexit team, or is it maybe the EU are dragging their heels a bit? What do you think?
Well, it's very difficult because the discussions take place privately and one doesn't know what goes on. They may be having a good time and drinking a glass of wine over lunch, or they may be arguing fiercely. I don't know. Yeah. But clearly we have decided to come out. The government is coming out on different grounds to me, I may say. I'm a pure democratic socialist. I want to see the restoration of trade union rights across Europe. I want to see public ownership restored. I want to see the power of democratically elected state governments restored, and the abolition of a bureaucracy which is very undemocratic. So, I put that case on a constant basis. I've spoken many, many times at meetings across the country and continue to do so. I should say also that, of course, that I've written a pamphlet about all of this, which was written before the referendum. During the referendum campaign, 141,000 copies of this were printed and circulated. I'd like to think it had something of an influence, but it puts my views very clearly. I hope that might be of interest. It's also on the Labour Live website for those who might be interested.
So you think we could make a clean break from the EU now and thrive?
Yes, I do think so. I mean, I think many people, senior economists, Stiglitz and others, are suggesting we could thrive very well outside. Already manufacturing is starting to do much better because of the depreciation of the pound. We have a gigantic trade deficit with the rest of the EU, £10 billion a year, £70 billion a year net trade deficit. But on the budget as well, we pay in 10 billion more than we get back. All of that means that we are in an advantageous position when we come out, and it's the EU that's going to have more difficulty, I think. So it'd be sensible to get out, have a clean break and start to negotiate a better basis for all of us.
Kelvin Hopkins, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.